Today, I have a chilling tale for you, a story that blurs the lines between reality and the supernatural. Picture this, a small town in America, where whispers of a dark presence linger in every shadow. This is the haunting tale behind the 2016 horror film, The Exorcist, the version you've never seen. Buckle up as we delve into a story based on true events that still send shivers down the spine. In the film, the girl's name is given as Regan, but in the chilling truth that this tale uncovers, her name was Roland Doe, born on March 23, 1882. This girl lived in a secluded town named Marathon, home to only about 1,000 souls. Her father, Jacob, was a truck driver perpetually lost in a drunken haze, unleashing torment upon his children. Yet her mother, a beacon of hope, tirelessly cared for them. As the clock struck 14, the calm of Roland's life began to shatter. She started to experience strange and horrid illnesses, mysterious convulsions that gripped her body, turning her once vibrant spirit into a shell of fear. Desperate, her mother sought help, dragging her to countless doctors. Yet time and again, Roland appeared perfectly fine, an ironic twist in her dark tale. The young girl became engulfed in uncontrollable cries, frightening off friends who once held her dear, leaving her to fend off crippling isolation and plummet into the depths of despair. Haunted by the belief that her daughter was a victim of dark forces, Roland's mother suggested that black magic was at play, a belief that ran rampant in those days. The eerie presence of Roland's aunt, Mina, a self-proclaimed witch who wanted to wed Roland's father, only deepened the family's nightmare. It was no coincidence. This was no ordinary illness. It was witchcraft, a spell cast to snatch away the joy from their home. Years slipped by like shadows on a moonless night, and despite relentless efforts, Roland's condition darkened further. Now 30, the weight of despair sat heavily on her. With her mother consumed by fear and confusion, she sought the help of a man rumored to rid souls of malevolent spirits. Convinced of the supernatural grip on her daughter, she believed this stranger would save them. And then, there was the turning point. On June 18, 1912, the man entered Roland's home, ready to confront whatever evil lurked within. As he prepared to perform an exorcism, the air thickened with dread. If she was indeed afflicted by black magic, this man had the power to shatter its hold. For months, it seemed as if principles of light began to break the darkness suffocating her spirit. But soon, the calm shattered again. Roland fell gravely ill. This time was different. Her voice deepened, as if a sinister entity found a home within her. Panic surged as she convulsed violently, and inexplicable objects began to escape from her mouth. With a heart full of trepidation, her family bound her, desperate to contain the unfolding horror. The chilling tale of Roland spread through the town of Marathon like wildfire. Newspaper headlines screamed of her condition, detailing how her screams echoed through the night, each cry striking terror into the hearts of locals. It was said that Roland's anguished cries were so thunderous that it felt as if her very body would erupt. Gripped by an unholy humor, she resembled an animal, making proximity to her perilous. When asked how many demons dwelled within, her voice would rumble back, heavy with dread, the answer chilling to the core: many. After numerous attempts to liberate her from these demons, the darkness began to recede. But the toll was immense. Roland lay frail and weakened upon her bed, a flicker of lifelessness behind her eyes. Finally, she breathed. "They have left me." For what remained of her life, she sought solace, living in fragile peace. But the horror never truly left. It remained a shadow, lurking just beneath the surface. Roland passed away on July 23, 1941. In 2016, filmmakers dared to bring the haunting story of Roland to life, crafting The Exorcist, the version you've never seen, drawing inspiration from her eerie legacy. Have you ever heard of a bus disappearing into thin air? Not a single clue. No wreckage. No bodies. Just gone. And then, 5 years later, it suddenly reappears. But inside, no one. No driver. No passengers. Except for one terrifying clue. This is the unsolved mystery of MH37. November 10th, 2014. A normal night. A routine journey. Bus MH37 was traveling from Shanghai to Yunnan, carrying 37 passengers, a driver, and a conductor. Everything seemed normal. Passengers were asleep, scrolling through their phones or lost in thought. But at exactly 11 p.m., the bus and everyone inside vanished without a trace. 10:45 p.m., the bus was seen passing through a toll booth. CCTV footage confirms it entered the highway, but it was never seen again. It never reached its destination. It never took a wrong turn. It just disappeared. The police searched every possible route. No wreckage, no tire marks, nothing. But the most chilling part? Not a single passenger's phone was used. No calls, no messages, no last goodbyes. As if time had stopped. Locals started whispering about something strange. One witness claimed, "I saw the bus, but the people inside, they weren't normal. Their eyes, it was like they weren't really there." Another driver reported seeing a thick mist engulfing the bus before it disappeared. Some even heard voices, whispers, calling out from the fog. Was this a time warp? A hidden government experiment? Or something much worse? Some believe the bus never actually disappeared. It just entered another reality. A place where time moves differently. A place where no one returns. In 2019, a man called the police. He had found an abandoned bus in a remote area. The number plate, MH37. The windows fogged up, the seats covered in dust. But inside, nothing. No driver, no passengers. Just one thing, faint handprints. Like someone desperately tried to hold on before they vanished. What really happened to MH37? Did it enter a different dimension? Or is there something out there? Something we're not supposed to understand? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But be careful, because some mysteries are better left unsolved. Friends, in America, there is a mountain range known as the Sierra Nevada mountain range. In 2005, 2 people were climbing this mountain. It was the month of October. On this mountain, there is a glacier called the Mendel Glacier. These 2 climbers were near this glacier when they witnessed something unusual. They saw what appeared to be a piece of cloth buried in the snow. Upon closer inspection, they realized it was actually a body trapped in the ice. It was a man lying face down, with one of his legs missing. His face was unrecognizable due to the extreme cold, which had preserved the body remarkably well. When the climbers reached the body, they noticed that the man was wearing a parachute. The parachute had U.S. Army Air Corps written on it, indicating that he was likely an American Air Force soldier who had fallen here and died on this very mountain. The climbers immediately informed the authorities, and soon a team arrived at the site. They began carefully removing the ice around the body. The first discovery made by the team was shocking. This soldier was from World War II. World War II lasted from 1939 to 1945, meaning this soldier's body had been lying in this place for more than 60 years. The body was carefully extracted to avoid damaging its tissues. But the biggest question remained: who was this soldier, and how did he end up here? Upon searching the soldier's uniform, they found some coins, a pen, and a piece of paper with handwritten notes. His uniform also had a badge with his name, but the letters were too faded to be read properly. Experts used ultraviolet light to try and decipher the name. They could only make out a few letters: E, O, A, and M, nothing more. They attempted to find a match for this name in U.S. military records but found no results. The mystery remained unsolved. Who was this soldier? Since the body's face was badly damaged, facial recognition was impossible. The experts also examined the piece of paper found in his pocket, but it contained only poetry and song lyrics. It seemed that the soldier had used writing as a way to pass the time. However, the real clue came from the coins found in his pocket. All the coins were from 1942, strongly suggesting that the soldier had died that same year. Experts then checked U.S. military records from 1942 to see if any incidents had occurred near this mountain. Finally, they found a crucial lead. On November 18, 1942, an American aviation soldier had gone missing. His name was Leo Erwin Mustonen. He had been part of World War II and was flying in one of 7 aircraft on a training mission. However, his plane had crashed somewhere near this mountain, and he, along with 3 other soldiers, had disappeared. 5 years later, in 1947, the wreckage of the plane was discovered. The remains of the crew members found in the wreckage were collected and given proper burials. However, Leo Mustonen's body was never found. It was likely that before the crash, Leo had jumped from the plane using a parachute, but had landed on the glacier and died. The letters E, O, A, and M found on his badge made sense now. It was Leo E. Mustonen. To confirm his identity, experts started searching for his family. Through DNA testing, it was finally proven that the body frozen in the ice for 63 years belonged to Leo Mustonen. He had survived the plane crash, but succumbed to the harsh conditions of the mountain. Even after 63 years, the freezing temperatures had perfectly preserved his remains.
A house burned to the ground, but the 5 children inside, not a single bone was found. Did they really die in the fire, or did someone take them? In the most chilling part, a single photograph sent years later may hold the answer. It was Christmas Eve, 1945. The Sauter family was celebrating in their home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Sauter, along with their 9 children, had no idea that this would be the last night they would spend together. At around 1 a.m., a fire broke out. Within 45 minutes, the entire house was reduced to ashes. George and Jenny managed to escape with 4 of their children, but the other 5, Martha, Louie, Jenny, and Betty, were trapped inside. After the fire was extinguished, something horrifying was discovered. There were no human remains. No bones, no ashes, nothing. Firefighters claimed the flames were too intense and burned everything, but experts disagreed. Even in fires much hotter than this, bones always remain. That's when the real mystery began. The Sauters started questioning everything. Why didn't the fire department arrive for 7 hours? Why was their phone line cut before the fire even started? Why did George's truck suddenly stop working that night, even though it was working fine the day before? And why did a stranger watch their house's wiring just 1 day before the fire? Years passed, but the questions never stopped. And then, something truly disturbing happened. In 1968, 23 years after the fire, Jenny Sauter received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a photograph of a young man, along with a cryptic message on the back. Louis Sauter. I love my family. Illegally kidnapped. Brother Frankie. A 90,132 or 35. The man in the photo resembled what Louis would have looked like as an adult. But where did this picture come from? What did the numbers mean? The Sauters hired a private investigator to track down the source. But after reaching Kentucky, the investigator vanished. No trace of him was ever found. Desperate for answers, Jenny hung the photograph in her home, hoping that one day, her son or someone who knew the truth would return. But that never happened. What? George Sauter died in 1969, never knowing what really happened to his children. Jenny Sauter passed away in 1989, still waiting for answers. To this day, the case remains one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries. Were the Sauter children really taken? If so, by whom and why? Most importantly, what happened to them? What do you think? Was this a tragic accident or something far more sinister?